All right, thanks for joining me here. This is I guess, the seventh private Zoom conference with the Infinite Plane Society. This will probably be uploaded to YouTube and other places afterwards. On this particular topic, I didn't want to go live right away because we're talking about Roland Reddy, the rocket scientist, and that was something of a contentious topic a few months ago when it was revealed that Rick Hummer, who's somebody in the Fee Corps and part of the conference, is actually Roland Reddy, that it's a character that he plays. And this character that he plays gives Flat Earth a really weird and awkward and cringy face with buck teeth. So we asked about it, and we're like, well, if you had the chance to meet Neil deGrasse Tyson, why did you have to go full retard with it? Which is what he did. Anyway, for outing him, I was somewhat outgrouped myself. It was considered to be some kind of I don't know, like I spoiled an inside joke or a prank. And, anyway, the whole thing was just ridiculous to begin with. And my position on it from the beginning was that it wasn't a coincidence that this redneck rocket scientist guy suddenly showed up in the flat earth discussion right when Mad Mike Hughes showed up. And as a friend of mine put it to him directly, he said, "You look like a controlled op to discredit Mad Mike." So Mad Mike wasn't invited to the conferences, but Roland Reddy, the redneck rocket scientist who pretends to be a globe believer, who's just dumbfounded by flat earth. I mean, the whole thing is such a disgusting caricature. And Vice.com, and this is why I find it interesting, Vice.com has already done hit pieces on, if you remember, they went after the auto hoaxer, what's his name, Scythorn. So they've been doing this for a while. They have been working with what looks to be controlled opposition agents to make auto hoaxing look bad, to make flat earth look bad. And it already does, but they went just last week. They reached out to the Flat Earth Society and they said, do you believe in global warming? Which they answered, yes, we do. It would be irresponsible to ignore overwhelming evidence. So it's like, wait a minute. You can ignore the overwhelming evidence that they provide you with their data for the globe, and you ignore their evidence for their version of outer space, but you take the information from the same agencies as paragons of truth when they provide you with climate change information, that it would be irresponsible to ignore it. It's the same people. Okay, so this is from Vice.com, and this was just last week, a couple weeks ago. Fear of a flat planet inside Canada's first ever Flat Earth conference. Now, I didn't see Roland Reddy showing up on YouTube. Did any of you? I didn't see anything about him. So this is strange. Listen to this. What happened when the world's most well-known flat earthers took over the West Edmonton Mall? And so this guy says, myself and 4 of the most well-known flat earthers in the world are in the Sherlock Holmes pub waiting for a man named Rick Hummer to join us. Everyone's excited for his return, as I will be, because we're meeting his alter ego, Roland Reddy, the redneck rocket scientist. Reddy, and now they spell it REDDY, R-E-E-D-Y. REDDY, the group explains to me, is the Flat Earth's secret weapon. See, look at this. Mad Mike was our secret weapon to break into the mainstream, and we did. And now they're saying here that Roland Reddy is the Flat Earth's secret weapon, their ticket to the mainstream. It says Roland Reddy is going to be the star of a film that mixes real-life stunts with more Neil deGrasse Tyson confrontations. It says when Hummer shows up a few moments later, he's in flannel with a wig and a headband on, crossing his eyes, and wearing fake buck teeth made especially for him. So here's a link, redneck rocket scientist. I mean, this is such a controlled op, and the fact that he's meeting with Vice. Look, Vice.com has been doing hit pieces on auto hoaxers. They've been doing hit pieces on Flat Earth. They just said, oh, Flat Earthers believe in climate change. And now here he is meeting with Rick Hummer as Roland Reddy. Listen to this.
Stunt guy Roland Reddy gets his act together and calls in for backup.
Better buckle up, because we're blowing stuff up.
Raging inferno. Now that's how we do it. We have no idea how bad I want to run through that sprinkler right now. It's hot out here.
But Roland is on a whole other mission.
Hey, Neil, you got 25 seconds to talk to a redneck rocket scientist?
And he's questioning everything.
First of all, I know you're taking some heat on this whole flat earth thing. Take me with
Okay, so this is the redneck rocket scientist thing that was thought up, dreamed of. I mean, this character, redneck rocket scientist, however long has had this dumb character, suddenly became a rocket scientist, rednecker, whatever, who's suddenly interested in the flat earth. Exactly Mad Mike's story. Mad Mike's not a flat earther. He said, I'm going to find out. Roland Reddy says, I'm going to find out. We know it was a controlled op. We figured this out, and they try to make it look like I was a bad guy for calling it out, but no, we saw what it was. We've seen these types of operations before. You steal a headline, you throw in some, a proverbial turd in the punch bowl. Roland Reddy was a turd in the punch bowl. I mean, look, how is he Flat Earth's secret weapon to reach the mainstream? We already reached the mainstream with Mad Mike. And Mad Mike's not done yet. So I don't know, but listen to this. He says to the guy from Vice, did they turn on you while I was gone, he says, in what I think is a Kentucky accent, a faux Kentucky accent. Trying to be, anyway. I mean, this guy's a caricature of rednecks. Rednecks ought to be offended. This guy's just such a stereotype. Anyway, he changes topic and sets off to get footage. He marches intentionally into a door with his camcorder on the end of a selfie stick, filming every action. So you got this guy dressed up as a fool, as this moronic redneck guy yelling at the sky, "Take me with you," at the stage lights. So, he's a clown. They literally have a clown as Flat Earth's secret weapon, getting meetings with Vice. You think he's going to talk about the fake space station? You think he's going to talk about Skyfall and the dome falling? No. That's not what's going to happen. Listen to this crap. He marches intentionally into a door with his camcorder on the end of a selfie stick, filming the action. The plan is to have Hummer as Roland Reddy sing a Flat Earth-inspired rendition of Brown Eyed Girl to the pub, something he accomplishes before the night's end. And to pull this off, they make friends with a waitress and talk her into allowing him to film there. We were going to talk to her earlier, and she got flat-smacked. Jake Grant, a man helping Hummer on the film, tells us. And by the way, who invented the term flat-smacked? I think that was our think tank. It's interesting to see how our lexicon has just gone everywhere. You flat-smacked her, asks Mark Sargent, the man viewed as the catalyst for the modern Flat Earth movement. So Mark Sargent's the catalyst, and Roland Reddy's their secret weapon, and I bet you they don't mention Mad Mike in this interview, in this conversation whatsoever. So here you have their little conference hall with now this is what's messed up, okay? You look at the leaders here. You look at Mark, look at Jaron, look at Skiba, Patricia Steer. You look at all these people here. They're all part of an enclosed system, which is biblical creationism within an enclosed model. They all support this. And they're all supportive of the end times biblical prophecy of the organizers. They may not say it. And I think they put Mark Sargent out there to soft pedal their end times Bible prophecy cult, which is what they're about. I got this quote from Robbie Davidson. Someone copied it. He was in a chat room somewhere, and he said, "What kind of Christians don't believe in a domed firmament?" I mean, that's something. What kind of Christians don't believe in a domed firmament? But anyway, I have to ask, what does flat smacked mean? He explains to me, it's when you drop flat earth arguments on a normie, and if their face changes from the typical face of scorn and ridicule to curiosity and puzzlement, you flat smacked them. That's pretty much right out of the lexicon. Okay, let's go on. He says, if I told you there were stars in the flat earth scene, would you believe me? This is something I just learned. There's a set of speakers here. Many of them have modest to large followings on YouTube, and they have diehard true blue flat earth superfans. So here we are. I'm a little starstruck, he says, talking to a guy named Corey. I've seen a lot of people from YouTube here, and look at this picture. You know, tell me this isn't a hit piece. You got this guy who looks like a Neanderthal. Is that human sheeple? Anyway, look at this guy. That's the face of FE. Thank you very much. And you got Bob and Jaron and Skiba and Mark Steer over there. Okay, so it goes on to talk about a grizzled man in dusty biker gear. 200 people sitting around tables, white. See, I knew this. This is basically like HuffPo. I knew that Vice had totally gone liberal fascist, where they're always about caricatures. And so this is about white, middle-aged, gun-toting mega fans who probably listen to Q. He says there's a buzz in the air. Flat Earth celebrities. Conversations are happening all over. It looks like they like talking about Flat Earth without the sneers. And behind me, there's a group of men chatting about how their wives don't like their beliefs. And over in the corner, a couple is shit-talking NASA. All in all, they seem to be a group of happy travelers. Here we are. There's the organizers in their high-backed chairs. Sargent says, it's very cathartic. A lot of people having these meetups. It feels happy like an AA meeting. But an AA meeting is usually sad. And you get there, and it's like, my name is Mark, but in this case, it's a happy inflection. My name is Mark. I'm a flat earther. So it's like a happy AA meeting. Interesting. See, this is what Vice wants. This is what Vice needs. So, and I knew this too. I said, they're going to turn Flat Earth into the next Trekkie convention. And they're going to report it alongside the nearest alien convention or brony convention, you know, bros who are into My Little Ponies. Like, this is them castrating a movement that could catalyze a serious reformation, a true society-wide epistemological reboot where we throw off all the delusions and the fantasies, the manufactured atrocity propaganda and the boogeyman they create. All that stuff would disappear. But no, right now they're turning this into another Trekkie convention, a happy AA meeting. The mingling dies as people take their seats. And here we go. And just look, this is subtle. Very subtle. Here you have a domed earth on a big chunk of land. You've got the earth on top of the back of a tortoise. It's very subtle what they do, but it's basically here is they're trying to condescend, marginalize. And it's working. Goes on to say they use similar arguments and conduct, quote, experiments in order to justify and rationalize their beliefs, but they all come to different conclusions. They all say the same thing. Everyone's lying, but they don't have a solid answer. They say it's the Illuminati, it's the reptilians, it's transnational corporations, money, power. They're hiding God. The group preaches to their audience to do their own research and come to their own conclusions, which might explain their mishmash of ideas. So, you know, what we're looking at here is Vice.com doing what they do best, which is basically just hit pieces. Anyway, hey, if you're here in Zoom, this is probably going to be where we're going to be doing most of our live streams, especially if it's about something that we don't really want to discuss in front of the usual trolls. Because today we're talking about ROLAN REDDY, who had a sit-down meeting with Vice.com during the Canada conference. And having a sit-down meeting with Vice.com and not talking about real things, as in real questions we have about the ISS, about Starman, about, you know, any of these things, Parkland, about the fake shootings, any of this stuff. But what does he do? You have a chance to sit down, and your secret weapon is ROLAN REDDY, the redneck rocket scientist, a pale imitation of Mad Mike. And what's worse is he's acting like a clown on purpose, filming himself